Hey guys, it's Chef JoJo with ECO, and on this episode we're going to talk about burnout. Burning that candle at both ends. I thought it'd be a great topic, especially during the season. And as always, we're going to have this conversation over a drink. All right, burnout. Okay. First before we get started, I sent out a little bit of a Instagram story asking for different beer ideas. We had run out at the studio, if you will. And thanks, Chef Stephen Faulkner, for, hope I got your last name right. I always struggle with that. Quick recommendation for what beer to drink. We're drinking the Arrogant Bastard Ale from Stone. It's been a while since I've had it, enjoying it very much. So cheers, Chef. Thank you. Anyway, recently I was scrolling through Facebook, going through some different things, and I'm part of I just recently joined this culinary group, Real Culinary Leadership. I recommend it. You guys, the admins do a pretty good job, and there's always some insightful questions on there. I'm always just trying to, listen to what people are saying. And somebody was asking about hobbies and what other things they do to avoid burnout. And I wrote some note. I recently started to take up running, but before we get into my solution, look, I've never been good at this, at the balance. I always am thinking about what's next or what's going to happen or what's at work and I never leave work at work. I've gotten better over the years, but for the longest time, that's all I could think about. And I think it's something that we all struggle with, and I thought it would be a good topic, especially right now when we're all in the heat, if you will, of the holidays, as everything's starting to gear up. And we probably just finished a big week, and now it's like you're right in the middle of the madness, and you got your head down and you're barreling through. And that for me is like what my bread and butter. That's what I'm really good at, is like putting your head down and just working and getting after it. And, things suffer. You just got to figure out how you're going to balance it and not burn that candle at both ends to where it singes you, if you will. I learned this lesson a while back where I was doing my job at the Honda Center, and I was the only chef. Now the managers gave me a lot of support, and I had hourly team members and supervisors that were awesome, right? I had this good team around me, but from an acting manager, chef, executive, whatever you want to call it at that level, there was only one chef in the building, really. And I started to have to make a judgment call on how much impact I was making while I was at work. You don't want to be my biggest thing is that we're great at putting in the hours. A lot of everybody's posting, gazillion hours. I think that's great, but what are you doing with the time that you're there? And as I was in this position, I realized, oh man, I'm not going to be able to get through the whole season and be as good as I need to be if I keep at this grind. Like, what am I doing to myself and to the business if I'm not able to decompress a little bit? So I started to be very meticulous on when I was coming in, when I was leaving, and how I was using my time. So I had the stamina to still make wise decisions under stressful situations and be impactful for the business. And I leaned a lot on my team, managers, and below me to kind of help in that process. I think a lot of people grew in it, and I learned how to let go. Now, when I was at Derby, all I did was think about this giant event, and I was obsessed with it. And I think we've talked about obsession, but this is how do you stay in that zone without totally losing your mind? Like, what can you do to decompress? And what I found not too long ago was I started running a few years ago, and at first I hated it. And then I did it again and again. And I've kind of fallen in love with this ritual of running. Like you can only go if your body is moving. You can't, like on a bike, you can pedal and coast maybe. But I like the physical demand that it requires. It makes my brain think about something else. And I can tell you that I feel different when I've run every day or every other day. My body feels better. My mind is a little bit cleaner, smarter. It keeps me going. I remember being that kind of in tune when I used to do a lot of martial arts. A lot of guys, work out. There's all sorts of it, but jujitsu, karate, whatever you can find. Hell, I don't care if it's ping pong. One of the guys said D&D. That's great. Just something that gets your mind out of the kitchen, out of the biz, so you can decompress. I think one of the most important things is, though, the reason why I'm leaning towards the running or working out is that as a group of people in our industry, I don't think we do a very good job of taking care of ourselves and giving ourselves that time. Whatever it is, try to give yourself the time. I know that for me, the running has been awesome. It's been great. Hopefully, you'll be able to find what your physical break can be. I'd really say, hey, if you can make it like working out or something that keeps you in shape, do that, because we spend a lot of hours on our feet, not a lot of sleep. There's a lot of things that we do to ourselves that isn't very helpful. We're really good at doing that long hours. And I was recently reading this article where businesses are going to 4 days work weeks. And I'm thinking, what would that be like for us? When we posted the holiday shift drink, there's a guy posted and he's like, man, I haven't worked a holiday. The only holiday I get to work is New Year's, because my exec chef and the general manager both have kids. So we're closed during the holidays, like on Thanksgiving and Christmas and whatever. But he's like, we just work New Year's. I'm like, man, that's pretty awesome. And it starts to make me think, all right, so the business might be changing. People might be looking at what we do differently. And how are you going to be a part of that change? Do you think kitchens could work on a 4-day work week? Or, in chef years, maybe it's a 5.5 day work week, like the normal people? I mean, I think that as I kind of ponder it, it might not be that bad. You do go to 4 days, you might need some more cooks, but your cooks that work for you might be more onto it and more in the zone than they were when they're burnt out. But then, how much are you gonna? Is it a way for they can sustain their life? They can make enough money doing it? Do you need to pay more? Do you need to have more employees? Does that mean that in the States, so if you have more employees, that means if you get to a certain threshold, that means that you're going to be doing insurance? There's so many little nuances to this, but what do you think about it? Could restaurants survive on 4 day, 4 day? I have to say 5, but I know that I need to say 4, but 5 is what makes this old dog feel a little bit better. So, my director back there, she's coughing a little bit. She's got bronchitis. She's been burning the candle at both ends. You okay? Yeah, I figure. But okay, back to it. Do you think restaurants could find staff that could work 4 days, maybe 5 days, 40 hours a week in that time frame and still survive? A lot of times I see these things and people are saying there's no way, it's not possible. But I want to say 2 or 3 episodes ago, somebody posted that they get 3 days off a week and it's changed their lives. Some of the chefs that were on Final Table, they are doing it. He's not working as much. And he says he spent more time with family and it's made him a better chef. So, I mean, I guess my ploy is, whatever it is, whether it's running or jujitsu or working out, lifting weights, find something that allows you to decompress and make sure that you dedicate that time to not think about the business. It's going to make you a better person. You're taking care of yourself, which in turn means you'll be able to take care of the business and your team. And it really does boil down to being better than you were yesterday. And if you're going to be a chef and you're going to work in this business, it's not a sprint. You're not going to be able to just get through this one hurdle and then turn around and get through the next hurdle and continue to maintain that. You're going to burn out, turn to other things that make it easier, and in the end, you could be resentful. I see a lot of people comment how we're all stupid and that you're still in the business. I finally got out and I can make a living wage. You're all idiots. For some reason, they still follow us on all of our social channels and comment, even though they hated being a chef. They're still following me. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe they're just a little angry. But my goal is to make us better. So what I'd like you to do is to, let me know what you think about the 4-day. Let me know what kind of exercises you're doing or what you're doing to decompress so other chefs can find that leadership and that example that they can live by. I mean, these are just my thoughts. I'm just trying to see what you think as well. Also, we'll take this time to bring up our chef ECO of the month. It's really cool. It's something that family and I really feel passionately about, that you guys can recommend someone that's made a difference in your career or in your life as that you found your way through this culinary or restaurant industry. All you have to do is write a letter and send it to chefeco@extremecularyOutfitters.com. And if your letter is picked, you will win $50. And the person that you nominate will $150, all in ECO gear for both of you. As always, I think you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and maybe Snapchat. Maybe I'll bring it back. I don't know. But until next time, guys, I'm Chef Jojo, and cheers.